And good evening. Thanks everybody for joining us today. So my name is Paul Garwood and I work at the World Health Organization. We're coming to you today live from the FIFA Fan Festival and on the eve of the World Cup semi-finals. And we're here to kick off today, a really important day. It's a celebration of Universal Health Coverage Day. It's also a marking of SDG 3 Day, Sustainable Development Goals, number 3 for the health and well-being. And this is one of the, of course, the 17 SDGs that are being recognized by the UN, the Education Above All Foundation, through the Scoring for the Goals campaign. So it's a partnership recognizing the importance of health through UHC Day and SDG 3. So this year's theme for UHC Day, by the way, is Build the World We Want, a Healthy Future for All. And we're, again, very, very proud to be working with, partners from around the world, Education Above All, particularly to support their out-of-school children initiative. I'd like to really I'm grateful, honoured today, to introduce our guests while sitting here in the SDGs Pavilion. I've got the privilege, firstly, to start with Mr. Didier Drogba, who's a WHO Goodwill Ambassador and for Sport and Health. Welcome, Didier. Sitting next to Didier is Sherrie Silva, a Rwandan British MTV award-winning choreographer. She's UN's IFAD advocate, a Malaria No More ambassador. She's also a supporter of the Education Above All Foundation, and she's a Rwandan development advocate. And I'm sure she's a football fan as well, so she's got a lot of hats. One of the great people I've met in the past couple of days is the gentleman on the end, the mad Stuntman. I've known him from his great song, I Like to Move It. My kids love you because of your song. So he's an international electronic dance artist, vocalist, performer of I Like to Move It, which is the theme song of our Bring the Moves physical activity campaign that we're running with FIFA and the Ministry of Public Health of Qatar and the Supreme Committee. And this is being featured throughout the World Cup. And last but definitely not least is Dr. Rana Hajar, and she's from the WHO Eastern Mediterranean Regional Office, where she's the Director of Program Management and a very senior expert. So thanks for joining. So in the next 15, 20 minutes or so, we'll discuss why everyone should be able to realise their right to health on this Universal Health Coverage Day, and what needs to be done to score a goal for health for all. So first, I'd like to go to Didier. So Didier, first to you. Why do you see health as an important priority? There are many goals, SDGs, there's 17, but why is health important for you?
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I think health is at the beginning of everything. For us to be able to attend to this World Cup here in Qatar, after the pandemic, we managed to do that because we knew it would be a healthy World Cup. People would be a bit more healthy coming to this event. And also, during my career, I really noticed all along, during the 20 years of career that I had, that health is really important to perform as a high competitor athlete. And now that I retired, it's been 4 years now since I retired, I noticed that health is even more important, even without being a professional athlete, being a normal citizen, if I may say. And I feel the difference when I'm active, when I'm practicing sport, and when I'm not. And that's why I believe health is very important. And in our society in Africa, I take it as an example because I live there and I'm from there. For a kid to have access to a good education and to learn the best way, he needs to be healthy. So that's why I'm really happy to be part of this program, of this campaign, and proud to be one of the ambassadors for WHO for health.
Thank you very much, Didier. I'd like to pass over to Sherrie now. For you, similarly, why is health a priority for you?
For me, health is wealth. just being a choreographer alone, I've had to see how important my health is. I realize that if I don't eat well and I don't look after my body, I'm not going to be able to jump up in the air and do a split. So it's important for me to make sure that the world is continuously staying active. And the older I get, the more I realize that you have to do that more. Because when I was young, I used to just rely on my fast metabolism. But recently, I don't know, I've been feeling a little stiff. So I've had to actually take on activities and be disciplined. And I also think health is very important from a young age as well. And that's why it's been really exciting for me to work with education above all, some of the kids there, just making sure that they stay active. And it also gives you confidence in yourself as well.
Thank you, Sherrie. Now to Stuntman, please. What does health for all, health in general, also mean for you?
I like to move it. You like to move it. Health is very important. When I was young in Trinidad, I used to be all up and down the place, running and doing all kind of crazy stuff, And when you do something wrong, your parents would beat you for it. But growing up now and learning from that, health is very, very important. When I got into singing, I was very energetic on stage. But like in real life after the stage, I would not be into sports or anything like that. I just want to sit around, eat junk food. Look at the size. When I was in the 90s, when the song first came out, I used to be slim. Now I gain weight by traveling the world and tasting and eating different type of foods and not exercising. And now I'm walking around with a cane because I injured my legs even exercising. And I fell and I injured my legs. So getting healthy and eating the right foods and teaching the kids that they have to exercise, they have to eat all their vegetables because they like junk. But if kids love junk food and you try to give them the vegetables, they're not going to eat it. But what you have to do, kids love cake. So if you're going to make a cake, put the vegetable in the cake. They'll definitely eat it that way, And this is what we've been doing now in the household. They don't like certain type of vegetables. Just mix it up in something that they really love. And they would never know. Just don't tell them. And health is very, very important. And I'm happy that I sang the song, I Like to Move It, is because I like to move it as an action. You have to move. You can't stay one spot. You got to definitely move. So I'm writing and singing a song, physically fit. And I'm the one that wrote the song. Everybody exercising except me. Something is wrong. So now I'm happy that who is doing this is also going to be a start of my journey to start getting physically fit.
Bravo, bravo. Thank you. That's a great message. Thank you. And Rana, a few words from you, please. I mean, why is health for all? Why is this day important, UHC Day, please?
It's great, yes. Thank you very much, Paul. It's amazing to be here with all these great speakers. I would like to emphasize that it's health of the body and health of the mind. I think it's very important when we talk about healthy body and healthy mind. Without health, we cannot do everything, like what Didier said, like what all colleagues said. Without health, we cannot perform, we cannot think, we cannot enjoy our lives. So in 1978, WHO, the whole world actually signed the Alma Ata, which is a declaration that basically says that health is a human right, is a basic human right. Universal Health Coverage Day is the day we celebrate that. It is the right of everyone, young, old, men, women, of all races, of all religion, to have access to the basic health services that will allow them to enjoy a healthy and rich life with both a healthy body and a healthy mind.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for your really meaningful responses. We're very grateful.
Thank you.
We all have our own personal stories about health and how access to health care, or the lack of thereof, has impacted our lives. So I'd like to kind of move to give you all the chance to watch a video about Didier Drogba's own story. And it's a great movie. We're really, really grateful that he's made this movie with us and with FIFA. So I'd like to please play that now.
Here's Drogba, and it's a wonderful goal by Drogba.
So I actually broke through to professional football later than some people would think. I worked hard on and off the pitch during those years to make a success of my career and to set a foundation for myself and my family. I found myself in the unusual place where if I had a problem on the field, help arrived quickly. And we've seen how vital that support can be lately. But off the field, we know this is not always the case. Ill-equipped clinics and supported health workers and not enough medicines and vaccines put people's well-being at risk around the world. Good health needs a team effort, so we need governments to commit to policies that support universal health coverage and give everyone access to what it takes to be healthy physically and mentally. When we team up for health for all, we all win. Let's make health for all our goal.
Thank you, Didier, again, for taking part in that. Thanks very much. And again, really, really, really powerful words. I'm sure viewers will agree that everyone on and off the field has a right to healthcare. So for you, Didier, just a quick reflection on that. I mean, how important, I mean, you talked before how important health has been for your journey. I mean, how does access to care make a difference in countries where you've worked, where you've traveled, where you've, you know, having investment in health? How important is that?
I think this is a subject that we can talk about for hours and hours. And this is actually one of the reasons why I decided to create my foundation, the Didier Drogba Foundation, because, like I was saying, I've been fortunate enough to grow up in Europe and to have access to healthcare, like really in France, for example, in France, you have the Sécurité Sociale, you know, you're covered, so you can have access to healthcare. But in Africa and in Ivory Coast, if you don't have what is necessary, which means money to have access to healthcare, sometimes you have, you have a simple injury. You broke your arm and you go to the hospital. Before they check you, you have to pay. So if you don't have the money and you cannot pay, you cannot afford to pay, so you cannot be treated. And I'm talking about the less dramatic case, but a lot of people died that way. So that's why I set up the Didier Drogba Foundation to try and give access to healthcare and to education to people, but mainly kids and women. But this is something general, and I think we have to be loud. This is a subject where we need to address governments to raise awareness, to tell them that we need your implication, we need you to do more to give access to healthcare to everyone.
Thank you very much, Didier. Now let's ask our guests another critical question. I mean, in similar lines, I mean, on Universal Health Coverage Day today, I mean, what do you hope our governments can do to make health for all a reality? And maybe it's not only governments, but, you know, your communities. Maybe to you, Rana, first. I mean, what would you say? What's your role with government?
Yes. Governments should ensure that every single person has access to the basic services that they need. I would like to mention, for example, vaccines. I mean, vaccines, it's something that got us out of the COVID pandemic. We're almost towards the end of the COVID pandemic. Without vaccine, without everyone having access to vaccines, without the strong systems that are in place, we cannot make sure people have access to these services. So it's government's responsibility to put in place the systems and to ensure that people can actually have reach these services. You know, they have the capacity. I would like to mention very specifically with vaccines, since we are at FIFA, you know, simple childhood vaccines, polio vaccines. There are kids that do not have access to that. If a child gets polio, they will never be able to kick a ball. They will never be able to do the basic childhood things. This is real equity we are talking about. And without governments and the enabling powers of all the partners, it's actually governments and partners to ensure that these systems are strong enough so that everyone can have access to the services. We have a lot of policies. At WHO, we have a lot of policies, but it's government's job to implement them, to make sure that they become realities on the ground and they don't stay as high-level policies and strategies.
Thank you, Rana. And to you, Sherrie, I mean, similarly, I mean, what's your feeling about the role that partners, including governments, can do to improve access to care?
Yes. I mean, yes, of course, governments can do a lot to make sure that healthcare is accessible to everyone. I think a lot of governments, especially in Africa, can learn from Rwanda. Our government is so amazing. We have a system called Mutuelle de Santé. This is a health insurance system which households living in low-income households basically only have to pay 20% of their health insurance for the year, and then the government will pay the other 80%. So what my foundation does actually is, we know that a lot of people still can't afford that extra 20%, so we make sure that we provide that for the thousands of people that need it every year. You know, we have drones. I sound like a Rwandan promoter, but I'm just so proud of what our government is doing for people that actually struggle to access healthcare. We have drones that provide blood donations in hard-to-reach areas, because as we know, a lot of the places in Africa are hard to reach because of the roads or when it rains. So we need to find solutions to this. As a United Nations IFAD advocate, I specifically work with rural youths, and I understand a lot of their problems. And rural youths play a massive part in our society. However, they're often forgotten about. So yeah, and also Rwanda is actually the first African country to incorporate digital healthcare into their system. So now people don't have to pay for a motorbike or a taxi or walk about 30 minutes to get to a hospital. They can actually just call the doctor and get a prescription. So it's things like this that we need in order to keep our society moving forward.
Thanks very much, Sherrie. Thanks to all of you for your responses on this. We've been talking about some really serious subjects, but we're so lucky to have the Mad Stuntman and Sherrie tonight using their other talents to entertain, to support the movement for health for all. So for everyone that's here tonight at the FIFA Fan Festival in Doha, you'll be able to see them bring their moves on the stage from 7 p.m. in a little under 2 hours' time. And this ties in again with the campaign we mentioned before that FIFA, WHO and the Ministry of Public Health have been running during the whole FIFA World Cup. The Be Active, Bring the Moves challenge will also play a big part in the semi-finals starting tomorrow. I really love to see you taking photos of all the different visibility that you'll see and tweet them at Education Above All and WHO and FIFA, so please do. And if you haven't seen the Bring the Moves challenge video yet, and what's really brought your song to the tournament, we'd like to play it right now for you quickly. So.
Perfect. Suleiman Tarvin through to Jan, who's onside. It's Asamoah Jan, it's 2-1.
Hey, are you watching this? Don't just sit there watching. Bring the moves.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Physically fit, physically. Woman, physically fit, physically. Woman, you nice, sweet, fantastic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a big Titanic. Woman, you nice, sweet, fine, energetic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a big Titanic. Woman, you nice, sweet, fantastic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a big Titanic. Woman, you nice, sweet, fine, energetic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a big Titanic. Woman, I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it.
and challenge them with your goal celebrations. Players are waiting. Be active. Bring the moves.
What a song, hey? What a great song. And thanks, Didier, for taking part in that. So challenge your players. Challenge your favourite players, please. Bring your move. And I'd like to see you do your move too, Rana, if you like, anytime. So to round up the conversation, I really enjoyed this conversation. Just one last question to each of you, please. To Didier, Sherrie, Mad Stuntman, and Rana. What do you think people themselves should do right now, today, maybe with the World Cup in mind, to improve their health and their mental health, their physical health and well-being? Maybe we'll start with you, Stuntman.
One thing we need to do. Music brings people together. When you go to a concert, people is jumping together. When they're going home, they walk in their separate ways. We have to get those same people that came together for music, come together for these kids. And I would love to perform around the world. And the money that we make, we give it to these kids that's unfortunate as well, you know. And that would be my dream, because to see the kids actually singing and dancing to my song, it makes me want to cry every day. It really, truly makes me want to cry every day, sitting here, talking with you guys. I'm so happy that you guys gave me a platform to entertain the world, not just women, but everybody around the world, you know? And we definitely need to come together. Togetherness, gonna make everything together. Just like you guys came together as a team, we need to do the same thing for the younger generation and show them that they could follow their goals with anything they choose to do. And stay in school, because you have to learn. That's where it starts. In order to be a leader, you got to be a follower. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I think the first thing about staying active and staying healthy mentally and physically is that initial step. You know, sometimes we don't want to just go to the gym. It's so intimidating, right? So even if it just begins with you in your house, watching my dance videos and following along, I'm joking, but just begin with yourself in your house. Look at yourself in the mirror and, you know, say, I love you. You know, you're great. Talk to yourself. Remember that God created you and he was happy when he made you. He thinks you're beautiful. So you need to believe you're beautiful too. And then start to move your body, you know, once you've got that confidence. And before you know it, you're going to start working out. It's just little steps and little steps. I mean, these kids from education above all that I've been working with for the last few days, when I met them 3 days ago, I said to them, who can dance? And they all were really shy in the corner, and they looked at me, and there was like one little hand went up. And if you see them now, they're shouting, they're jumping, they're even going to do solos. So it just begins with that confidence. Talk to your kids. Just encourage them to be confident in themselves as well and get active, and do it with them as well.
Thank you, Sherrie. Didier. Wow.
I mean, what more can I say? You know, they've said it all. Really, really, really. The only thing I want to add to that is movement is life. Movement is life. The more you move, the more you stay active, the more you stimulate your brain, the more you stimulate your body, I mean, the more alive you will be.
Thank you, Didier. And
sorry, I have to get the mic. Yes, I think like we talked about governments, we all have individual responsibilities as well. We owe it to ourselves to stay healthy, to eat right, to eat well, to exercise, to actually, since we're talking about the education, to educate ourselves also about what is best for us, both physically and mentally. I mean, we're all now, especially all our kids, sit on the phones and on screens half the days. It is our responsibility also as parents to make sure that kids do not spend so much time stuck on the screen. So at the end, like individuals, like governments, I think health is also a partnership. And I would like to end with our slogan in the region. We say health for all by all. Everybody has a part to play in health. In Arabic, we say الصحة للجميع ومع الجميع وبالجميع. So everyone has a role to play in health. Thank you.
Thank you, Rana. Thanks very much. So, because it's UHC Day, Universal Health Coverage Day today as well, so you can please go to the WHO Twitter feed. You'll see a whole thread about Universal Health Coverage Day, the work we're doing today. On our website, you'll see a set of tips on what we're doing to call for health for all, including our health tips for the public called Your Life, Your Health. Please go to the Education Above All Foundation website and UN, and you'll see a whole lot of information about scoring for the goals. So this ends our live discussion today. I want to thank you very, very much for joining us, Didier, Rana, Sherrie, and the Mad Stuntman. Thanks to all our viewers today. And we're going to take one last play to round out the conversation. One last play of I Like to Move It, Move It. So again, thanks everyone. Let's move for health for all. Let's make health for all our #1 goal. So thank you.
Watching this? Don't just sit there watching. Bring the moves.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Physically fit, physically fit, physically. Woman, physically fit, physically fit, physically. Woman, you're nice, sweet, fantastic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a big Titanic. Woman, you're nice, sweet, fine, energetic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a big Titanic. Woman, you're nice, sweet, fantastic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a big Titanic. Woman, you're nice, sweet, fine, energetic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a big Titanic. Woman, I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it.
Move it! Tag your favourite players and challenge them with your goal celebrations. Players are waiting. Be active. Bring the moves.